Hey, good night, everybody. This is Lexa Gray Rose, and this is part 3 of our series, Personal Power and Religion. And where we left off at was, my two homies are here. This is my friend who has extensive leadership ministerial experience, and her name is Sula. And this is my therapist friend with ministry experience as well, and that's Fa. So I just gotta keep doing that because if you count, I don't know which video you coming in at. So my business. But so what we were talking about is Sula was going into how you stop here. Go say it.
Basically, it's like, you continue to submit, you continue to, get these prophecies from your leadership of your ministry, and then, sometimes they may be off. And they're off because at this point you're hearing from the Spirit yourself. Mm-hmm. But because you don't want to come up against the anointing, right? You submit to the word that is not from Spirit for the sake of submission to the anointing. And that's what I think we lose, because it's like, I know I hear from the Spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Guessing what you hear from the Spirit to listen to what they're saying.
Mm-hmm. And it's deeper. It's deeper for me because I've always literally heard the Spirit, like especially when I needed some kind of guidance and stuff. So I was always clairaudient, right? Mm-hmm. But when I get into a church that I know these people are flowing with a strong spirit of prophecy. when they're flowing with a strong spirit of prophecy, when they tell you something like, you want my husband, and I remember saying I don't want your husband because I gotta check in with the Spirit, and then
and then you start questioning yourself. Well, damn, excuse me. Do I want?
Do I really
maybe I do, and I'm giving off something that I don't see.
Right. And see,
it's messed up.
It is messed up because this particular pastor and pastor's wife, he was disgusting to me because he dressed like he was on a magazine cover, and his wife was she didn't dress like she was on a magazine cover. So to me, if you're gonna buy you some Gucci boots, then you should be buying me a pair of Gucci boots too. But they didn't match. So one, that's not my type. Then he was like a little corny. So I'm from the hood. So I came in there with a thug, but that's my type. So then you telling me that so this thug was also a court reporter, so it wasn't like I had a bum, and that's another thing. I like dudes with money, and that was me. You the head of the ministry, always not having enough for this, and then people got to pay for your stuff. That wasn't my thing. That wasn't my thing. So
they had you all the way to it,
right? But then because I gave up my personal power, and because I let somebody tell me that they heard that from the Spirit, then I'm cowering I'm a whore and all of that in the name of the Spirit. Right. And that's where not only do you give up your personal power, but then things get abusive.
Let me tell you, I'll try to make it a quick story. I was called before this congregation, and I was told that the young lady I had staying with me, I had an inappropriate relationship with.
In front the whole church.
The whole church.
In front the whole church.
And I knew that the word was a false prophecy.
And
she knew that it was a false prophecy. And so did my ex-husband at the time know that it was a false prophecy. But they pulled me before this ministry and gave me this false prophecy in order to strip me of the anointing I knew I had on my life. You defame somebody like that in front of a whole congregation, people looking at you like...
It's humiliating, too.
Exactly. But that's what the whole goal and the whole aim was. He wanted people to kiss his behind, and the old leadership had to be removed unless you submitted to his...
And that can cause a level of trauma.
Oh, we are definitely traumatized, especially me and her husband.
I don't think I'm traumatized.
But you just was all
no, because I had to show the emphasis on what that was. You called me before a whole congregation with a false prophecy.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it was traumatizing at the time, and it's just
not
now?
At the time, it was very embarrassing, but because I know that was not my truth, and I walk in a truth now. Okay. Because I know I never touched that young lady, and that young lady still to this day looks at me like her mama
Right.
It was a false word. And they was
but,
wrong.
But at that point, you was on your way out anyway. So
not just yet. But
it was
that was definitely a big.
But you saw that, so it sounds like you still held some power. Like you wasn't totally.
I
submissive
totally
at that.
submitted. I totally submitted.
No, I submitted to it before the congregation as if the word was true.
Oh,
I didn't fight against it. I didn't say you're wrong.
Because that's what they heard from the Spirit.
So I didn't hear you say that. Okay.
Yeah, because if you did that, then you're coming against the anointing. You're getting blasted. It's like everybody's against you. You become like the
ostracized, like
yes.
outed. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and that happened a lot in that ministry. And you know what? I'm gonna do this at the end. So, but to me, that was a good thing. The trauma that I experienced in that church was a good thing, and I'll go into why at the end. But that's how, like, and this church is an extreme version. But because we're leaders and because we have spiritual power, we had to go through that to maybe help somebody else out on this side. No, that's
absolutely.
not, because all churches don't do that.
No,
but that's the
absolutely
way powerful people lose their, because you know when you're attuned to the Spirit, because I've always, and I'm sure you've always had a intuition and
right.
and something a drawing from Spirit and beyond, and those kind of places seek people like that out. Because you want to please, because you feel called to a higher purpose and a higher thing, but you join this thing and then you lose yourself.
I want to also pose it to you. Okay, so
wait, I'm gonna pause right here because it's about to go down. So tune in for part 4.